What's happening, everybody? It's good to be back making videos again, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about this Vaush situation, right? Because there's things that are not necessarily being brought up that, I feel like should be contributed to the conversation. Okay, so let's paint the picture here. You have Vaush. He comes out, Father Vaush, intellectual titan as he is. He comes out and he's edgy, and he's coming from Destiny's group, and he makes all of these arguments. Adult-child relationship could be good for the child potentially, not usually, but potentially. And then he talks about, CP is compared to child labor, which is clearly not. It's a different kind of abuse. But anyway, he comes out with all these edgy arguments. He has these weird statements. Then he gets into this scandal in Destiny's Discord, right, where he is talking to all these girls. He's being like really sexually pushy, even on one person who was supposedly not really well, right? There was one girl that was supposed to be a Christian, and he kept trying to push it, right, and things of this nature, right? And so he got exposed for that. If you go to this guy, J Stock, his JSTLK, on his channel, he's re-uploaded an old Destiny stream, which Destiny took down, where it's Destiny going over this stuff. And, it wasn't a very good look. Then you've got this horse meme stuff, right? You've got all of that. Okay. So then you have all of this stuff simmering in the background, right? You got all of this laundry, dirty laundry with Vaush, right? And then it happens. And then the folder is exposed to the world. Okay, it's the to be sorted folder. These are the new pictures, right? This is the newest stuff only. You look at the picture online, and how many do we really see in this folder? We see like 10, maybe 12 at most pictures or something like that, right? Not very many pictures. Okay, in just these amount of pictures, in just this amount of pictures, we get like, at the very, very least, one, young girl, like lolly type material, right? And I would posit that there are more. I've seen some of the leaks. I can't find all of the pictures in high res, but some of them are out there, and I would posit that it's more than just one. And so if we think about the percentage here, that's a pretty decent percentage. If you've got like 1,000 photos, or 1,000 pictures, or 1,000 drawings, and you take that same percentage, it's going to end up being quite a few pictures, right? And so we have to ask ourselves, it's like, well, why did Vaush save the picture in the first place, right? Well, obviously it would be because he's attracted to this look. He's attracted to whatever was drawn there, right? And so, it brings up an uncomfortable truth. He says it's an accident and that he was looking for like, short stack, like short and thick girls. But if you look at the pictures, I don't think that really computes. I don't think that really jives with what's in the picture so much. At least with one in particular I'm thinking of. There's one in particular that is just, I don't know, it's pretty degenerate, man. It's like, there's a horse, then there's a girl at the back, then there's a girl underneath, and these girls look fairly young to me, man. But anyway, so you have all this going on, and so Vaush claims, oh, innocent mistake, accidentally downloaded. What are the odds that just he accidentally downloads at least one lolly pic, and it just happens to be in the few pictures that were leaked, right? I think it's a reasonable assumption. It's a reasonable intuition. I think it would be very easy to infer that there are more, right? That there's just simply more. And it might be uncomfortable for Vaush. It might be uncomfortable for his fans, but I think that's just the way it is, And I think that sometimes he was insecure about it. He went super hard on this anti-lolly stuff, right? And I think there might have been, there's the whole closeted gay person who hates gay people, right? I think it's the same effect going on with Vaush here, and I think it's also possible that an element of it, when he would make all these arguments, right? You ever, when you were younger or something, you ever have like an embarrassing secret or thing about yourself, and you'd go to your friends at school and talk about it, but you would say it as a joke, be like, "Oh yeah, I've got this and that going on with me, isn't that crazy? Ha ha ha." And you'd laugh about it like it wasn't serious, but it actually was, right? And you're kind of putting out a feeler. You're kind of checking the temperature to see how people would react to such a thing. And sometimes I think that an element of that was involved as well. And so, you have these things going on. Vaush was attracted to these pictures. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he says. He could say, "Well, I accidentally downloaded it, whatever, or I did it on purpose." The fact of the matter is, he saved the picture. That's what's important, was the saving of the picture. It's not so much, oh, did I mean to, did I not mean to? Well, he was looking at it and he saved it. Okay, so that's mostly what I want to talk about regarding Vaush particularly. But I think there's a issue that people don't want to talk about, that people don't want to address. Humans, and this is according to not only Christian teaching, right? Like I say, I'm a Christian in my past videos, but also you can just observe it in the world, right? I mean, it's clear observation. Humans are corrupted. Humans are certainly not perfect. Humans have a lot of issues. We're very imperfect people. And, I don't have to go into the whole backstory on all of that, but the point is, we are where we are as fallen, corrupted people. Okay? And I think a lot of people don't want to address certain things that they may feel, right? You have Vaush out here. Look, there is a big, at least a sizable market for this lolly material, right? You have artists out here. You have it's a big enough subculture for it to be known about generally on the internet, at least with online people, right? And so, but the point being is that this is a desire that I think more people have than they're willing to, really be open or honest about. And so people are ashamed of it. People are embarrassed of it, I'm sure. But I think a lot of these people who crusade against it so hard, are kind of like Vaush. They're crusading against it, but something in them, there's an insecurity. There's like this inner turmoil that goes on. And I think that there really needs to be an honest conversation around this subject, because you can't deal with things properly. You cannot find a true solution to a problem unless you deal with the truth of the matter. Because if you're not dealing with the truth of the matter, then you're fixing other things. You're not focusing on what's important. And what's important is that this is a problem that affects many, many more people than people want to let on, right? So I want to show this statistic quickly on my web browser here. If you can see that, it says CSA has frequently been found to be a widespread global issue. Estimates of prevalence of CSA, or how often it occurs, range from 8 to 31% of girls and 3 to 17% of boys internationally, and anywhere from 12 to 26 of girls in the U.S. and 5 to 7.5 of boys in the U.S. Now, you think, well, these are kind of small percentages, right? They're not huge. But if you think about it, you know, even if you go with the small estimate for the U.S., which is 12.2%, that is over 1 in 10 people, right? And so if you have this abuse going on in 1 in 10 girls, and you know, in my life, that seems to be a fairly accurate, just at least from anecdote, from things I've heard throughout my life and stuff. And so you have that many people dealing with that many girls and boys dealing with that. What that says is that there's even more adults who feel that way toward the children, right? Conversely. And so that's a lot of people. And that's only the people who end up offending. And so I think that people are not really being honest in the conversation. I think a lot of people, you know, get on their moral high ground, their high horse about this subject, and understandably so. Certainly, understandably so. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. You know, children are pure, and there's hardly anything pure in this world. And to ruin it for your goon session is, you know, your one-time goon is ridiculous. It's terrible. It's evil, right? With a physical child, and it's certainly not good with even animations or AI, because it indulges the brain. It indulges in things that need not be indulged. You know, if you resist, you know, I don't know what you guys believe, or you probably don't believe, but there's this verse in the Bible that talks about, you know, if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. And I mean, essentially what that's saying is, if you resist these urges, if you resist, you know, these types of things, these, you know, bad activities and stuff, it'll eventually leave you, most likely. Now, some people struggle with certain things all their life, you know, but point being, if you indulge it, it will keep progressing. You know, many people have had an experience where they watch, you know, adult videos, and you end up going down this rabbit hole, right? Ted Bundy said, there's an interesting interview with Ted Bundy that said he used to be really like a addict to that stuff. And eventually it wasn't enough, and so he kept taking it further and ended up doing what he did. I'm not saying everyone would end up that way, but I'm saying, you know, it's just, I don't think anyone would want to argue that it's a good thing to indulge in. You know, it's just not. You know, it's just really not. And it would be best to work your brain into use that brain power, that brain space, that time into more productive things, into things that aren't going to destroy you and don't come from some of the darkest recesses possible of the mind and the soul, right? So, I mean, this issue, I think people need to deal with reality. You know, I think more people need to be honest, have an honest conversation instead of just clutching their pearls. And like I say, it's understandable why people clutch pearls over this, but at the same time, there needs to be an honest conversation. That's not going to happen anytime soon because of this whole interesting moral purity thing that's going on here the past few years, which is kind of interesting in itself, but that's a whole other thing. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this Vaush subject. It's possible I might talk about the too mad thing, but it's good to be back. Thank y'all for watching, man. Bye.